Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to thank you on behalf of the Sri Lanka Tourism for you on our invite coming for this press conference. First, I would like to do my introduction. We have our Honorable Minister for Tourism and Lands, Mr. Harin Fernando, our brand ambassador. Of course, I don't need to do a new introduction. Master Blaster himself, Mr. Sanat Jayasuriya. Onto my right corner is Mr. Thisum Jayasuriya, who is the chairman of the Sri Lanka Convention Bureau, and I am Chalaka Gajabao, chairman of the Sri Lanka Tourism Promotion Bureau. I would first like to play a small video, and then our Honorable Minister will address the press gathering. Thank you so much.
There was a time when instability and turbulence loomed over our beloved Sri Lanka. There was a time when instability and turbulence loomed over our beloved Sri Lanka, and uncertainty was in the air. Plagued by a pandemic and an economic crisis consecutively, we as a people withstood tremendous hardships with an imminent need for perseverance and a solution. But that was then. Here we are now, amidst the smiles we made anew, amidst the wonders not forgotten. We nurtured a haven for us and you to live and work remotely, to elevate your experiences, to find an inner peace, to celebrate independence, both ours and of your own, to get lost in our nightlife, to make the moments last. In safety we've created, in safety we've made vast. Hotels on hills and beaches, a trek on roads sun-kissed, where fireworks meet culture, and culture feels like bliss. Ever onward, ever blessed. We're a standard always set. We're an island so amazing that some call it the best. An island bathed in forests, an island bathed in mist, an island bathed in coral reefs, an island loved and missed. Wherever you choose to go, wherever you choose to be, it's a short drive in any direction to excursions and opportunity. Here's where hundreds of thousands of new smiles grace malls and businesses alike. Here's where power now flows consistently and resource supplies have heightened. Here's where dedication and renewed leadership work together to keep the heart of a nation beating. Here's where safety measures are taken. So, no more masks. You can enjoy breathing, make a trip, and make haste. There isn't a moment to waste. Your adventure begins when you decide, I think I love this place.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for being here. We're delighted to be here and speak a few words about Sri Lanka tourism and our way forward in our tourism. With me, like Chalak Gajapal, our Promotional Bureau Chairman said, Mr. Sanat Jayasuriya, Brand Ambassador, Thisum Jayasuriya, we all present here. This is our second stop for the second stage, second leg of the Indian roadshows. So we started last September or August, if I am correct, with Delhi, Mumbai, and Hyderabad. That is a time when Sri Lanka was just stepping out from its troubles, and we first moved into India. And I think even though initially we didn't see results, but 2023 has really provided us with some great results from India, where India has really topped as the number one country as a rivals to Sri Lanka. It was a battle between Russia, then the Russians and the Europeans, that is UK, Germany, and France. So India is back again as number one, so we are delighted, and we think what we did in last August have really made a big difference in the arrival numbers. This leg, we started off from Chennai. Today we're in Cochin, and tomorrow we're leaving to Bangalore. The day after we will have the B2B sessions at the Roadshow. What we do here is just try to convince and show how normal Sri Lanka has become. We just achieved great strides from the struggles we were facing. There were power cuts for more than 12 hours. There were lots of negative publicity given to the problem that we faced a year ago. But Sri Lanka is not that today. So we need the awareness, and that's one of the reasons why we are here. Also, to make a note, Sri Lanka has been named as one of the best destinations in many of the magazines, many of the travel guides, many of sites, as Sri Lanka being one of the top 10 destinations to travel. And there is an immense potential for India and Sri Lanka because the cultures are quite similar, the culinary is quite similar, and Sri Lankans have a special place for Indians in their heart because we always turn to India whenever Sri Lanka had a problem. And it's the convenience of travel. If you really look at Sri Lankan Airlines, they have more than 80 flights a week into Colombo from India. 80 flights a week. That's a huge number. So there's a massive air seat capacity which provides the easy access for Indians. And there's a great news today because our central bank has announced that Indian rupees will be accepted in Sri Lanka for tourism purposes and trading, which will be a significant move in Sri Lankan history and with the Indian-Sri Lankan relationships. As you saw in the video, we were just trying to give you a visual idea of how Sri Lanka has been or has transformed into being normal to normalcy and moving to much better normalcy, which we never even imagined. And Sri Lanka is that destination that everybody should visit. So I'm not going to make it long. Ms. Hannah Jasuda will be speaking on the two channels briefly, and we will take your questions. We'll take about 7-8 questions since we have to get prepared for the today's event. And I would also invite you after the tea, just try and walk around and get some pictures of the B2B session. So what we do on the B2B is Sri Lankan companies, about 30 to 40 companies have come here today, and they will be meeting with their counterparts in Cochin, and we will be directly discussing about the packages they have. And also today we are hoping to launch a Ramayana trail, which is quite significant for Indians to visit Sri Lanka and see on the pilgrim packages. And we are a destination that is not just confined into the beach. We have adventure, we have the mountains, we have the cold weather, we have history of 2,500 years, which will go back together with India. And there's lots for anyone and everyone to do in Sri Lanka. Whether you're on a honeymoon, whether you're on adventure, whether you're on pilgrimage, be rest assured of one thing, you will be treated with the Sri Lankan hospitality. So that's one of our strengths. And please, as our media friends, we humbly ask you all to write something positive about Sri Lanka. And we would like, after this meeting, even to take your numbers, and we would like to do some awareness trips for you all into Sri Lanka, which could be arranged in the coming days. So thank you, and I hand it over to Mrs. Hannah Jaisul, who will just speak a few words.
Thank you very much, Minister. I think this is the third roadshow on the road, and we just finished in Chennai. What we just did was awareness about Sri Lanka, how we are promoting Sri Lanka as a destination for the Indians. So, and just like the minister said, it's a very safe place. So, mostly Indians travel to Sri Lanka, not for tourism, even for the sports tourism. There are a lot of opportunities in Sri Lanka. So, you all can travel because we have, Indians have a lot of sports, cricket academies. They can travel to Sri Lanka and play a lot of sports, cricket in Sri Lanka. So we have the facilities. Everything is safe, and you all have seen earlier, almost a year ago.
And that's all in history now, and we are moving forward and looking forward for future for Sri Lanka. So we can't stay for past, and talking about the past is not going to help for us as Sri Lankans. So we are moving forward. The minister is having a lot of ideas with the chairmen of the tourism ministry. So we have a plan for Sri Lanka tourism. This is why we have just been with Indians first, because that's immediate neighbor, and India has been really helpful for Sri Lanka even during crisis. So we're always thankful for that also. And I just want to say that the media, you all can do a bigger role for Indians to give a lot of positive image about Sri Lanka. So I have seen locally in our TV channels how you all went on and show about negative images about Sri Lanka. Now I think it's all history. So the media, you all can play a big role for us. So please show some positive images and tell the Indian the public that they can travel to Sri Lanka. And also Cochin, it's a very cultural and very similar things, Sri Lanka and Cochin. So we have long way in history. So just a confidence we need. So we are depending as Sri Lankans, as a nation, as an island, we are depending on a lot of in tourism. That's why the minister and all the chairmen who are here, and they have a big responsibility for our country. So I am part of this tourism promotion in Sri Lanka as a brand ambassador. So whatever I can do for Sri Lanka, I am doing it. And we all are doing that for our country, and that's why we are here in India, to get your support. So thank you very much, all the media who are coming today, and your support is valuable for us, and we are looking forward and seeing you in future. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tisu Jasuria. I'm from the Sri Lanka Convention Bureau. So to tell you a little bit about the function of the Convention Bureau, we are the MICE arm of the Tourist Board. So I'm here to tell India, especially Kerala today, the possibilities that you have in Sri Lanka to host your next MICE event in my country. So when we first came to India, like the Minister mentioned, we came with the hope of convincing the Indian community, or Indian travel industry, to have their events in Sri Lanka. But I'm actually proud to say, in a span of 8 months, from January to this month, we have had over, I would say, close to about 6,000 Indian MICE travelers to Sri Lanka, out of which big names such as Tata Tascon Steel, then Pfizer Pharma, Lupin, Bosch, Tata AIG Insurance, even as of right now, Hero Corporation is having 500 packs incentive tour. So what I'm trying to convince you all today is to tell the corporate community, please write about the possibilities that you get in Sri Lanka for MICE travelers. And Sri Lanka has become a value for money destination, especially for the MICE sector. So I'm not going to talk further. I think we all know what Sri Lanka has to offer, and we really appreciate your cooperation and your positive information about Sri Lanka. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tisum. Thank you very much, Sanataya. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Well, overall, Tourism Promotion Bureau's task is the marketing of the country and the image of the country. And at the same time, Minister has taken a task. It's not what you call tourism. Tourism is the image of the country also when it comes to communication. That will do a lot to build the country's, rebuild the country's image. So like we discussed, I'm not going to go into the details what happened in April, May, June, July. It's past history. But then the thing is, whether it's in Chennai, whether it's in Cochin, still, whether we meet a business leader or we just meet a consumer on the road, the question they ask is Sri Lanka back to normal? Of course Sri Lanka is back to normal. Our minister always says, seeing is believing. That's why we are inviting media groups, influencer groups to come visit Sri Lanka and believe in this concept of seeing is believing. Like Minister said, please, with your registrations, we would like to invite certain groups, your channels, your media publications to Sri Lanka. We will organize the tour and to give that positive image. You know, it's very difficult to show empty petrol sheds. Petrol sheds are not empty because there's no gas. There is gas. There are no queues. That's the reason. There are no medical queues. Because there is medicine. You don't have to queue up anymore. That's the truth about Sri Lanka right now. We are moving ahead. And specifically, I like to talk about the south of India. That's why we are in Chennai, then Kochi, then Bangalore. It's very important and it's very close. We always call India our big brother, and we have always been there with us in our good times and in our bad times. Maybe not when the 1996 World Cup happened with Sanataya. So moving ahead, Ramayan Trail is another important marketing product that we have. You know, we have over 80 sites which are registered, and out of which 32 sites have infrastructure as well when it comes to the Ramayan Trail. So there is so much, and you can get all these the details at our website srilanka.travel, the details of the Ramayan Trail. There is long history. We are going to conduct another project and a campaign and get an influencer group from Ramayan as well to Sri Lanka to market this product. Overall, we always say, under Minister's guidance, Sri Lanka an all-in-one capsule. We are not just sun and sea, whether you're from Kerala, whether you're from Mumbai, wherever it is, we have what you need. Any tourism benefit that you can have in a small island, whether you want to go for a swim today or maybe climb a mountain within 24 hours. All those facilities are there. And in terms of culture, in terms of religion, diversity, we are all equal. So thank you very much. I won't talk much. Let's get into the question and answer session. Thank you very much.
You all can ask any questions that you all have. If there is no question, that should be all right.
If you want a mic around, I can pass the mic around in case you want to ask.
Yeah, have you attracted conventions back in Sri Lanka, international conventions?
There are a few international conventions lined up the latter part of this year. So what happened is for conventions, you have to at least be prepared for 2 years in advance. So after COVID and the pandemic, the crisis, so we missed most of the conventions which was lined up for 2023. So, but we have got few confirmations for the first quarter of 2024, and then onwards actually a lot of conventions that will take place in Sri Lanka.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
See, Kerala is mostly dependent on tourism.
Yes.
Whereas Sri Lanka, the neighbor, is also more dependent on tourism. So how could we make an arrangement to benefit
Yeah, actually, what we realized and what we saw today was that Sri Lanka and Kerala especially has so much in common. Whether it's the language, whether it's the food. We went to Chef Pille's restaurant today, which is here, and it is pretty similar to the way of cooking in Sri Lanka. And there's so much we can do. So what we even today discussed was a program where there could be, the backwaters here and the boat houses is some concept that we saw was very interesting to even have it in Sri Lanka. So we met one of the top companies in here, and we've had discussions with them to bring them into Sri Lanka and also Sri Lankans to have an experience in here. And Sri Lankan Airlines is here today as well. So we've discussed with them to have a reciprocal program where we can both benefit out of it. So I myself went to the Hyatt yesterday, all of us. We were very impressed with the surroundings, the beauty of Kerala, and I think there's huge potential for Kerala and Sri Lanka to do joint promotions in future. So this time I did not meet government officials because we were purely on a roadshow with the private sector, and the government of Sri Lanka was only facilitating the private sector to do all those businesses. But looking forward to meeting them and finding between the agents, they are discussing. So even at the B2B sessions, they'll be discussing how they can do both. Most of the companies in Sri Lanka does the inbound and the outbound. So they will be discussing all of that today on their B2B sessions, and we are keen to support it through the government as well.
The crisis was a huge crisis. How did you manage to come out of it?
Well, in any case, in our own personal lives, a crisis would make you only stronger. Sri Lanka fell to the rock bottom, and whatever we did was just coming on top of it. There's nowhere else to fall when we fell down flat on our face. I think it is a huge challenge, but Sri Lanka is a resilient nation, and we have always proven over and over again, Sri Lanka keeps coming back. And I think it's a leadership, it's taking up challenges. I myself, Sanath Jayasurya, we were all anti-government at that point. We were on the streets. But when it came to taking a role on behalf of the country, we did not hesitate. We decided that our country comes first and we should stand up together. And it was not a politics or anything that we looked at. We thought we'll take a role. Sri Lanka's highest income is foreign employment, like Kerala. And number 2 is tourism. Number 3 is apparel export. So we decided to take a role and take up that challenge and work hard. So and the president also have to mention that he has been brilliant. The current president is the most experienced right now that we have, and he was the best option to lead us out of the crisis. And he has been doing a tremendous job so far. IMF has given us our first, even to agree to IMF within 6 months and getting all those changes in place would have taken years before, years and years, but within 6 months, because of the crisis, I would say that it was a blessing in disguise. We were able to structure Sri Lanka, our tax policies, our import policies. There's quite a lot on our trade deficits, how we should react. There's a lot of changes we did, and there's so much of opportunity in Sri Lanka. Port City is unveiling on the 7th of May, again for potential investors. We have lots of government sector things that we are selling out to the private sector. And I personally believe a government should not be doing business. It should be the private sector driven. In anything, government should just facilitate. So I think that those are the key successes that we did differently and thought differently and saw that as an opportunity to change. So that's how we got out of it.
See, you have two major countries helping you. One is your closest neighbor, India, and the other one is China. How do you balance both of them?
Tricky question. I think it's just like how you balance your wife, So, she'll never be happy with whatever answer you give. And you just have to make sure that you give the right answer at the right time. So my answer is it's like controlling the wife, so we do it right. Thank you. Any other? Okay, good question. So right now the majority of the tourists that arrives, number one, is with India. We're looking at this year of around 1.5 to 2 million tourists overall. And out of that, we see 30 Indian tourists minimum. Yeah. So at least about 600, 700,000 Indians would travel and visit, because there's 80 flights a week. And you can just imagine the amount of loads. And also, we're starting a ferry service from Pondicherry to Thalemanna, as well as Tuticorin. There's another ferry service, and also a cruise service. They've got all the approvals. The Jaffna airport, and there's 4 flights a week. I'm pretty sure they will make it all day, everyday flights into Jaffna as well from Chennai. So those are significant improvements, and I'm sure by the end of the year, India will be number one. And after this campaign that we have carried on, and also I have to make a special mention to the Thai, that's Travel Association of India, which has been a great support, and Jyoti Maya is the chairman. She has been a humongous support for Sri Lanka, and most probably they will have their AGM with all the travel agents in Sri Lanka. More than 700 will have their AGM in Sri Lanka, most probably in June or July. And that will be also a huge, like a seeing is believing kind of a thing, where all the top travel agents in India will see Sri Lanka and how it is, so that they will be confident to sell Sri Lanka. Can I take one more question, or can we wind it up? Looks like we can all go for tea then. Thank you so much. Just go to the B2B. Yeah, one. Do you have a question? No. Yeah. So in the evening also, there's lots of dancing acts, a lot of festivity that we do in Sri Lanka. So if you're available, I think the PR agencies here, you can just speak with them, and we'll try and fit you in there. We'll share the videos also with you. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here.